Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. FPL Consult here, and welcome to the Gameweek 23 deadline stream. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are watching. I hope you guys are having a good weekend. And FPL is back, and also it is the crunch time now. They're going to be double game weeks coming up. This is the best part of the season. All right, so strap in. There's going to be lots of content over the next few weeks. It's also going to be lots of decisions that have to be made, like a certain chip that I've decided to use in Gameweek 24 already. So I'm sure we're going to have lots of questions and discussions going on today. And also, just a note, the FPL website has changed a little bit. They've kind of moved the bench to make it, I think, a little bit smaller. My expectation is that it is because the assistant managership is going to be available from Game Week 24, so they're just kind of preparing for it. That's my guess, but not really liking the layout, if I'm honest. But all right, so this is what it is, and I've made my 3 transfers as I said in the team selection video. So I've brought in Trent, Mbumo, and Vissa for Rico Lewis, Phil Foden, and Nicholas Jackson. Right, so it is what it is now. In captaincy, I have it on Salah. So for now, this is what I have. And let us start off with your questions. Good morning, all of you guys in the chat. Nice to see you. Green bread pastry first. Very nice. Toby in the chat. Member, very, very nice. Good to see you. Stan as well. Good to see you. Trust you're well. And green arrows are standards. Yeah. Active bench boost. Pickford, Sa, Milinkovic, and Nunez. No, is it worth a try though? Pickford, Sa, Milinkovic. I would say no still. I would say no. Probably not bench boost worthy for me, I think. Lost Aussie Abroad says, hi Leon, hi everyone, told you all to captain Wood. Well, if you went different and if you captained Wood last week, I have huge congratulations to you, because that obviously was a massive differential. I saw a team that Wood captain and scored about 90 plus points. That was insane. Start Rogers or Wood. Palmer will be playing really good tonight. I hope. Man City also have one centre back only. Wood or Rogers? I would say I have to still back Chris Wood. I mean, the guy is a machine, right? And he's on penalties versus Rogers, who's not on penalties. I would say that's how I would go. Ashley watching from Cape Town, South Africa. Very, very cool. By the way, if you are watching, please drop in the chat where you are watching from. It's always something, and I'm very interested in, like, how international is the audience. It'd be cool to know. Right, let me know where you guys are watching from. SSWS says, I'll be at Anfield soon. I'll captain Salah. Very cool. Very, very nice experience as well, watching a match live. I'm sure it's going to be really, really fun. It's looking like it's going to be a field day as well for Liverpool. So it makes sense. Start Robinson or Wood this week. I'll definitely start the attacker, so it's Wood for me. Ahmad or Palmer? Definitely Palmer. Alex says, for assistant manager, will you keep it on slot all 3 weeks? Great question. I'm actually about to record the transfer plans video after this stream, because I have to get it out for you guys in time for I have to get it out after the Manchester City game against Chelsea. So the transfer plans will be out then, but I will mention the plan for the assistant manager chip, how I intend to use it. But just a bit of a spoiler is that in Game Week 24, I plan to get slot. And then 25, I'll also have slot. I'll keep him for 2 weeks. And then the plan is dependent on how well it's doing, because my expectation is that if I'm on an assistant manager chip, I want about 40 plus points. I think 40 points is a good gauge, right, of how strong the chip should be. In which case, if I've already had slot for 2 game weeks, essentially 3 games, right, Bournemouth, Everton, and Wolves, if I'm somewhere around 30 points already, I might just take the risk and go for the table bonus in 26. So instead of going for Arteta, for example, and playing it safe in 26, I can go for someone like Kieran McKenna, for example, Ipswich versus Spurs, right? Then that would also mean that I'm raising the ceiling of the chip because I'm going for table bonus. The flip side is if it's not doing that well, if it's kind of, out of the 3 games, say for example, I only have 20 plus points by the time I switch it away from slot, then I think what's more likely is I'll go to Arteta, play safe, and then try to hit that 40-point mark. So that's essentially right now how I plan to use the chip. But obviously, lots of things could change. If there's a double in 25 as well, then definitely that will change. So yeah, it's quite dependent on what happens over the next few weeks. But for now, that is the rough plan that I have. Right, so I'll be sure to cover all this, not to worry, in the transfer plans video that will be out tonight. Right, so keep a lookout for that one. Right. Wood or Morgan Rogers, I prefer Wood. Matt Allen says, big up, consult, like the video. I'm glad you guys liked it. I think I received quite a positive response from the chip strategy video that I put out earlier this week. So thank you all of you guys who have watched it. If you haven't already, I do recommend giving it a watch, at least before game week 24. There's still one more week left before you actually use your chip, so that's still relevant. ISAK, Wood, Gakpo, front 3. It does seem like that's going to be the template front 3 right now. It does seem like it. To be fair, if I wasn't playing the assistant manager chip in Game Week 24, then it's quite likely that I would have done Jackson to Gakpo. So yeah, I do think that Gakpo, Wood, and ISAK looks like the standard front 3 right now. Banana says, hi Leon, my question is who would you start between Kirkes and Munoz? I have Vissa, Mbumo, and not Wood. Between Kirkes and Munoz, this is tricky. I think I would go for Munoz. I would lean slightly towards him. Alex says, start 2 out of Robinson, Aina, Rogers, or Sa. I go Rogers. And then, okay, ideally I start both attackers ahead of the defenders. So I think in your case, if you start Rogers inside, it seems like you're gonna play a back 3, like a 3-5-2 of some sort, or 3-4-3. Yeah, I would favor the attackers in this case. Start Ahmad or Raul Jimenez. You see, this Fulham game, I actually have Ahmad's on my bench right now, but this Fulham game, I actually have a feeling that Fulham would do well against Manchester United. And to be fair, the Manchester United defense just isn't good, right? So I might lean towards starting Raul Jimenez, but that's also with the understanding that he probably would only get 60 to 70 minutes. So if you're comfortable with that, I think I might lean Jimenez, also because he's on penalties. Best pick, Watkins, Rogers, and Duran. I think Rogers is the one that's the most value. Watkins is too expensive. I am Spark81 says Japan, Serbia. Banana says a neighboring country, Malaysia. Very nice. Joshua, Singapore, incredible. I see India further down the chat as well. Incredible. Thank you all for tuning in. There's already 100 of you guys watching. So if you haven't, please do drop a like. And I think we're also very close to 10,800 subscribers. I think we're only about 20 subscribers away. So if you haven't already, please do subscribe as well. That'll help the channel and it goes a really, really long way. Okay. Let me just see where we've left off. Timber to Trent. It depends if that is your only route, right, to Trent, because I do acknowledge that Timber is quite expensive. Then that's okay, but I don't really like it because Arsenal's fixtures over the next 4 game weeks is pretty good. You bar the Man City game, the fixtures are actually pretty good for Arsenal. So I don't mind holding on to Timber if you can. What's your rank aim this season? Top 10k. That's always the rank aim. Like anything in the top 10k, I'm happy with. I'm happy with it. My expectation though is that if I'm playing the assistant manager chip early, I might rise in rank a little bit, but that is also that might not stay till the end because obviously people will have their chance to play the assistant manager chip for themselves as well. So yeah, I'd say that I'll play the chip, hope it works out well, and then later down the season when people also play their chip, hopefully I don't drop rank too much. Bench one of Raul Jimenez, Robinson, or Ahmad. I'll probably bench Robinson then. Were you not tempted to get a third Liverpool player instead of Mbumo Vissa? 100% I was tempted, right? And it was a big decision, right? Whether you want to go Vissa or Cody Gakpo, right? So for now, I've kind of locked myself into the assistant manager in Gameweek 24. But that's with the full knowledge that I know that is the strategy that I want to go with. So if you guys aren't certain yet, then it's perfectly fine for you to just go for Gakpo now and then just go the route that I guess many people are going, which is simply just going triple Liverpool outfielders. Likely the more popular choice right now, I do feel, is double attack. So Salah and Gakpo seems like the most natural front two you'd go for, and then Trent as the defender. Right, so I've seen double defense combinations as well, but I don't think it is as popular as a double attack one, especially with this Ipswich game looking like Liverpool is going to score many goals. It just pushed more people to just take that risk. So I think, yeah, it was only with the knowledge that I want to assistant manager in 24. If not, you can be certain that I would have gone for Gakpo as the Jackson replacement. Ahmad or Rogers? I would start Rogers this week ahead of Ahmad. Would you do Bruno to Mbumo, save the transfer? I would save the transfer. Sells and Foden for Alisson and Mbumo for free. Nah. I just not make those transfers. Yeah, I don't think the ceiling is very high. Like when you go Sells to Alisson, it's pretty much like I think 4-point difference if Sells doesn't keep a clean sheet and Alisson does. It's not the end of the world. And it also gives you more time later down the line. I think next week in 24, you can think about whether you really want Alisson as your Liverpool triple up or not. Stan says, thanks for the reply. Watching from Czech Republic. Very, very cool. Love it. What is better from Game Week 24? ISAK and Ahmad or Son and Dominic Calvert-Lewin? I have to say ISAK and Ahmad. I have to say. I'm also going to put it out there that I could be wrong, but having no Everton players for Game Week 24 does not really worry me that much. Like I know they have Leicester as their first game, but I'm honestly not too worried about it. Right, so for those of you who want to take a punt on more double game week players, you have free transfers lying around. Fair enough, but I'm just not in a place where I'm rushing to go out and get Everton players for the double. Considering captaining Son this week, form isn't the best, but it's a great fixture. I think the fixture is good. He's also just coming off 2 goals in Europe, so who knows what's gonna happen. I think for me the main pushing factor as to whether I'd be willing to captain a differential is whether there's no clear captain option this week. But the truth is that there is. The truth is that many people will either captain Salah or ISAK, and it makes sense as well. They have one of the best fixtures this week. So there's no real, I guess, push for me to recommend a differential. So if you have Salah, I'd actually just put it on Salah still, to be honest. Mbumo or Munoz? Definitely Mbumo. Timber the trend, as I've said, right? I like Timber's fixtures, but if he's your only way to trend, then fair enough. Would you play Rogers or Jimenez? I would play Rogers or Jimenez, I think. I mean, Jimenez is on pens, right? This one is more tricky than the ones before. It's so tough. Rogers or Jimenez? Could go either way, this one. Gonna go Rogers, I guess. Just about. But Jimenez is on penalties, so. Excuse me. Okay, I'm very, very far behind on the chat. I do apologize. I'm gonna speed through it. If I miss your questions, please just drop it in the chat again, all right? Can you give a shout out to new FPL creator? FPL the English Aussie. All right. If you guys are watching, please go to FPL the English Aussie's channel and drop him a subscribe. Like, it goes a very long way, especially like if you're just starting out as a content creator. Like, every single subscriber gives you that boost, right? So just do something nice, and just head over to his channel. It takes just a short while, and yeah, I'm sure he'll really appreciate it. Start Rogers or Pedro? I would start Rogers. Robinson or Aina? Aina. Satyaki says, thanks for the recommendations. We go Sa to Mbumo or Joao Pedro Watkins, one free transfer. Definitely prefer Sa to Mbumo. Dilemma this week, Bruno, Ahmad or Wood? I mean, I'll try to get Bruno and Wood in the starting 11 because they're both on pens. Benching Ahmad is fine. Sammy says, I've already got... Oh, if you have Gabriel already, then fair enough. I don't mind selling Timber. Play 2 from Estonia. Very nice. Vissa, Ahmad, Rogers, play 2. I'm going to go Vissa and Rogers, just like my starting 11. Already in a 3-4-3 this week. Wood up front. Will you play Rogers ahead of Sam, Munoz, and Aina? I would play Rogers ahead of Ismail Assar. Rob T. Is this Rob T from Rob T Graphics though? If it is, incredible stuff that he puts out every week. Are you going with AM Arne slot? Because I'm going to need some inspiration for Gameweek 24. Yes, I am going assistant manager in Gameweek 24. Have you used your triple captain? Yes, I've activated it in Gameweek 2 on Erling Haaland. Bench 1 of Wood, Sar, and Rogers. I bench Ismail Assar. Bruno Fernandes or Joao Pedro? I'll start Bruno Fernandes. I don't blame you for your Everton comment. Play Kulusevski or Rogers? Kulusevski. Just for the better fixture, you know. Play Wood or Ahmad? I prefer Wood. Rogers, Mateta, Wood, or Eze? Bench 1. Whew. Man, that is crazy. Rogers, Mateta, Wood, Eze, bench 1. Okay, it comes down to either one of Rogers or Wood, which I might lean Rogers in that case. But it sounds crazy. I mean, it's West Ham. It's just too good. It's just too good. Like the benching dilemmas are crazy this week. I imagine we're going to see lots of bench points this week as well. Like, it's just a case of the fixtures this week. Greetings from Malaysia. Very, very nice. Recommended by Malaysia number 2 to watch your content. Wow, incredible. Thank you for the support. Start Raul or Sa? I would start Raul. Any postponement news? Not yet. Not yet. Not that I think we'll get any. Like, I know there's a huge storm in like Ireland, and also There's heavy, strong winds going on in the UK, but I don't think, in terms of postponements, that this week we're really at risk. So, seems like we're alright for now. No, I really need to change my name. If I was that Rob T, I'd be a lot better at FPL. I was getting. If you were really Rob T, though, I have to give you a huge shout out because your graphics, I mean, not your graphics, his graphics are absolutely incredible. Clivert, João Pedro, Robinson, Rogers, start 2, bench 2. Okay, I'm actually fine benching Clivert this week. I'd bench Clivert and Robinson, and I'd start João Pedro and Rogers. By the way, I really like the Clivert pick. Like, I know there's kind of a decision to be made for some people as to whether you prefer to go Clivert or Semenyo. I prefer Clivert. Yeah, and he's also in my plans later down the line. I think I'll bring him in. I'll leave the future planning for tonight's video. But yeah, he's definitely in my plans, Clivert. Will you play Kulusevski ahead of Rogers? Just about. Bench 1 among Timber, Hall, and Luca Dean. I definitely start Hall and Timber against Wolves. I think I bench Luca Dean then. Munoz or Robinson, Henderson at goal with Sells on the bench. I don't think I go double Palace defense though. So I think in your case, maybe you could diversify a little bit and go Robinson. Bruno to Kulu this week or save the transfer. Rogers or Pedro, bench 1. I bench João Pedro, I start Rogers. I don't want to sit on the fence for that one. Seems unlikely, but sorry, Dunk start. I think Dunk would start. Seems unlikely, but if you activate the chip on slot in 24, then Ange double in 25 too. You basically have 5 fixtures. Yeah. Essentially, that's one of those benefits. That's one of the benefits for using the assistant manager. Albeit, I have to caveat and say that if double gaming 25 happens, what it basically means is that Liverpool will not blank in game week 29. All right, because it would have meant that Spurs have qualified for the finals of the AFL Cup. So Liverpool not blanking in game week 29 would be great, even though I don't think that'll be the case because I honestly do think they are odds on to qualify for the finals. But it'd be great because I have Trent, Salah, and Rogers who will be involved in that game. The game that will be postponed in 29 if Liverpool get to the finals of the AFL Cup is Liverpool versus Aston Villa. So I have 3 players already that would have a fixture. So that would be great. So either ways, I think I have, or I hope I have all the different permutations covered. Joha says, hello from Sweden. Nice to see you. 3 free transfers, 2.3 million in the bank. João Pedro out for Gakpo is the best move. Raya, Trent, Gabriel, Hall, Gordon, Palmer, Salah, Rogers, ISAK, Wood, João Pedro. Yeah, if you have enough money for it, I would. Yeah, it does seem like that makes the most sense. Have you used Triple Captain? Yes, I've used it in game week 2. Sa or Rogers, I prefer Rogers. Ahmad, Murphy, Jackson, bench 1. I bench Ahmad. Pedro or Rogers to start, I start Rogers. Shane says, keep or sell Cunha. I'd be very willing to sell Cunha to someone like Mateta or Gakpo. Gakpo would be the first choice for me. Should I use my wildcard? It's the only way I can triple out Liverpool assets. Currently don't have Trent. Feel like I've been missing out considering most have him. I would still advise against it. And I imagine you have at least Salah. I'd actually prefer to take a hit, for example, if you want to bring in more Liverpool assets. I prefer to take a hit than use a wildcard now. I'm out of Rogers. I prefer Rogers this week. Finn says, I'm around 850k right now. I've got 3 free transfers. Should I be taking risks at this point? Or no? I think right now, whether or not you intend to take risks, your priority should be bringing Liverpool players if you don't already have. And then after that, I think you can start to differentiate. Like right now is the time when you can start to think about when you want to use your chips. And I think if I was trying to push for rank, I would try to differentiate my chip strategy a little bit as compared to the strategy that you think your rivals would be on. So that would be my approach. Any changes required? Henderson, Aina, Hall, Trent, Ahmad, Palmer, Salah, Gordon, ISAK, Mateta, Wood. Bench is Nah. I don't think you need any changes, to be fair. It's just a question of whether you want Gakpo. I think Wood to Gakpo is something that I've had a couple of questions for this week. Would I do it? I think the honest answer is yes. If I intend to not use the assistant manager chip in Gameweek 24, the honest answer is actually yes. I would do Wood to Gakpo. Right, but aside from that, I don't think there's any need for you to make any other transfers. Should I sell Bruno for Rogers? No. Bench Wood or Rogers? I would bench Rogers for Wood. Gabriel to Van Dijk and Lewis to Hall. I don't like Gabriel to Van Dijk. I would keep Van Dijk. Lewis to Hall seems fine, but he's not the defender I would go out and buy this week. After the Southampton game, excuse me, after the Southampton game, it starts to get tricky for Newcastle. Play Raya and Gabriel this week or switch Raya to Allison with 1 free transfer left. I would play Raya and Gabriel this week. Start Vissa or Rogers. Ooh. Maybe Rogers. John says, fancy playing a risk, Pedro Porro to Van Dijk, Foden to Son. Should I play it safe? I think you just have to think about whether you're happy to have these players that you mentioned for the longer term. Like right now, transfers are going to be very, very scarce because, again, depending on your chip strategy, but I've worked out until Game Week 29. If I want to save the free hit in 29, pretty much most of my transfers need to be focused on taking out players who blank in 29 for players who play in 29. So transfers are going to be, in short supply over the next few weeks. You're going to find that you want to use a lot of transfers. So it's great if you have a lot of transfers banked already. But if not, I would imagine that, we're not at liberty to make luxury transfers now or take random gambles. So I would say if you're happy to have someone like Van Dijk and Son for the longer term, then maybe. But if not, should you play it safe with Trent and Mbumo? Then the answer is probably Trent and Mbumo. Odegaard and Mbumo, I don't think it's absolutely essential to get Mbumo this week. I think I would be fine to get Mbumo like next week as well. Is Diaz being slept on? Hall potential? I think the issue with Diaz is just the minutes. Like nobody can guarantee his minutes. And I do think like over the course of the next few weeks, it looks like Gakpo is going to be the one that's going to get more minutes. Ali Max says, need to create some assistant manager chip money. Vardy down to who? See, this is one of the main reasons why I think I want to use assistant manager in Game Week 24. Because Imagine when you wildcard later down the line, if you need to save 1.5 million, take it out of your budget, and then you wildcard and try to also set up for the bench boost. I imagine, or I'm hoping that going the assistant manager now in 24, which removes that kind of headache for me later down the line, would put me at somewhat of an advantage. So it's not really just the points that I'm hoping for in Gameweek 24 from the assistant manager chip. I mean, obviously in 25 and 26 as well, but also that later down the line, I do have a slight advantage over people who need to save 1.5 million in the wildcard. So again, that's just another thing I considered. But if you want to create the assistant manager chip money now, Vardiol down to, I'm assuming you need 1.5. I think he's about 6 million. Any 4.5s right now? Maybe a Bournemouth one is where I'd go. Maybe Howson. Howson is really good. Finn says, when are you looking to play your assistant manager? Game week 24. Double game week 24 is when I intend to play the assistant manager. Thanks for reply earlier. Should I put Robinson or Raul for Fulham versus Manchester United? I definitely favor the attacker, so I would go Raul. 38 points last week, tumbled down from 30k to 51k. Yeah, that's okay. I mean, things like these do happen. And the best part is, Game Week 23 is already here. Start Aina or Robinson. I would go Aina for the slightly better defense. Take a hit and get Diaz for my midfield since I only have one Liverpool asset. I think Diaz is quite risky for minutes, so I don't think I'll recommend Diaz. If I have Mbumo, should I start Munoz or Mikalenko? If you have Mbumo, would I go Mikalenko or Munoz? I think I still go Munoz. Like, the goal threat is so much greater. Diaz or Trent this week? Definitely Trent. Definitely Trent. Start Rogers or Aina or Munoz? I'll start Rogers. Scott says, Kingscliff, New South Wales, Australia. Very, very nice. By the way, like, I love it when you guys put in the chat where you guys are watching from, because it really just, lets me know a little bit more about you guys, which I really enjoy. So just keep it coming. I know it's like random for me to like talk about countries as I'm talking about the questions, but I love it every time I see these comments. Sorry, skipping your comment for the 4th time. I apologize. Selling Raya for Pickford and Virgil for Trent, worth it for a -4. I wouldn't do it this week. I would keep Raya and I would keep Van Dijk this week. Apologies for missing your question. Diaz or Trent, I answered this one. Talk myself into falling to Son. Any words of warning before I lock it in? As I've said, right? Like, if you're happy to have Son for the next few weeks, fair enough. If not, I think you need to think about longer term. Transfers are going to be in short supply. Very, very short supply. Kirkes, Munoz, Timber, bench 1. Kirkes. Are there better opportunities for using the assistant manager chip other than double game week 24? For sure. The other double game weeks are also fine, right? Game week 31 is a single game week, but that's when you can activate it because it's for 3 weeks and then you have it activated for double game week 33. That's the next window. The other one would be double game week 36, all the way to 38. People are overestimating Gakpo's minutes. I mean, it does seem like the Ipswich game is pretty good for him, but I also agree with you that over the double, anything can happen. Do you still have your triple captain? Nope, I've used it already in game week 2. Stan says, to get Mbumo next week was my plan, but as I plan slot as assistant manager, I have this decision to make. Mbumo in for Sa or assistant manager. Then I definitely prioritize the assistant manager chip. I definitely prioritize that. You could wait until after Spurs, but I'll be honest, and I think getting Mbumo for the Spurs game does look pretty good. They're in pretty much shambles right now in the defensive department. Who is the best Bournemouth player to keep in the team after Gameweek 24? I think the player that I really want the most from Bournemouth is Kluivert. It's Kluivert and then Kirkes who are the top two for me. So I'm really desperate to go out there and get them into my team. Also because, I mean, it's a bit of a spoiler, but for the transfer plans video later on, you'll see that I'm shipping out players who don't have fixtures in 29 for those who have fixtures in 29. So Bournemouth are a team that will be playing Brentford in Game Week 29. And that's the reason why I'm quite keen on them. Munoz or Gabriel? I definitely go Gabriel. Diaz or Trent? Answer this one. Keen to use AM on slot, but would like a punt for 26. Yeah, Guardiola against Liverpool is a shout. It is a shout. Like you look at, there are fixtures in Game Week 26 that do entice me. One of those is the, sorry, it's not even on the screen. Yeah, now it is. The Man City versus Liverpool one. Like if Man City are 5 places below, that is somewhere we could gamble for sure. Another area that I see is Ipswich versus Spurs, right? Recently now they've got Julio and Ciso on loan, right, from Brighton. I think the Ipswich attack could really do something against Spurs, right? And if they get the early lead, I do think something could happen. There's also Wolves against Bournemouth, but I think maybe this one, not really keen on backing Wolves. The next one is Everton and Manchester United, of which I think Everton are more than 30% chance to get this victory. So there's definitely chances. The only thing is right now they are not 5 places apart. So all of this is, subject to the caveat that by the time we get to Game Week 26, they have to be at least 5 league positions apart. Man, this graphic is really making it difficult to navigate. All right. Should we prioritize getting a solid 8th attacker or triple up on Liverpool? Already had Salah and Trent, or add an Everton defender next week. I don't think you need to prioritize getting Everton players. Solid 8th attacker. It also depends, right? Do you need it? I think the priority is triple Liverpool. Yeah, long story short. Can you transfer an assistant managership? Start with Slot and then move to another manager? Yes, you can. If you want to change every single week, from 24, you want Slot. 25, you want, I don't know, Postecoglou if Spurs double. Then you could make that swap right away. And then in 26, if you want Kieran McKenna, you can also make that transfer. All it does, though, is it uses your free transfers that you already have in your bank, for example, right? So it would take up free transfers, but it is possible. How would you play the assistant manager? In my head, I thought if I do it in Game Week 24, I keep it on slot for 24, 25, then switch to a punt in the 3rd week with a team lower down the table. It's exactly that. Exactly that. I'll do it for slot in 24 and 25, also because it saves me a transfer. And then in 26, depending on whether I want to play it safe, I could go Arteta. If not, I would go for table bonus teams. 8K rank thinking ISAK captain. If you're 8K rank, you probably are doing something that I'm not doing as well, and it probably means that you have some insight there. So if you're captaining ISAK, you know better than me. Will you go Gakpo or Slot as your 3rd Liverpool asset? I will go Slot. Wood or Mbumo? If you're transferring in this week, definitely Mbumo. If it's to start, I would try to prioritize starting both of them. Manchester in the UK, very nice. I see Nigeria, I see New Zealand, Syria. I love it. Absolutely love it. Thank you all for tuning in, by the way. Really appreciate it. Should I start Aina or Mazraoui? Definitely Aina. Barcelona, very, very nice. Why Rodgers over João Pedro? I think the Everton defense is pretty decent this season still, right? Like, yes, I think in terms of David Moyes coming in, they've kind of switched their priorities a little bit and been more forthcoming in the attack. But that's not to say that João Pedro has been absolutely tearing it apart as well. I think the positions he takes up in those games that I've watched at least recently is far behind, is deep. And he enjoys being someone that is on the fringe a little bit. Like, he could pop off with some goals. Like, if the goal against Manchester United was not ruled out, maybe we're having a different conversation. But the truth is that over the past few game weeks, João Pedro just has not put up very good numbers. So I'd be happy to back Rodgers against West Ham, despite not being on penalties. Watching from Zimbabwe, very, very nice. Thank you for answering my question. Watching you from Iraq. I absolutely love it. Okay, I'm gonna have to put Mustafa on timeout. I do apologize, but please do not spam the chat. I think I've answered that one already. I'm just gonna put you in timeout for 5 minutes, okay? I don't think we have any moderators in the chat today, unfortunately. Okay. I have Ahmad and Nilanga. Shall I bring Rogers in for either one of them, and then whom should be replaced? Nah. I don't think you need to go out and get Rogers. I would prioritize Liverpool players still. Alright. Ahmad and Nilanga are not players that you need to sell. Bench 1, Robinson, Gabriel, and Vissa. I would bench Robinson. Who would you start? Sorry, would you start Ahmad and bench him? Or bench him and start Munoz as a fourth defender? Cheers from Ethiopia. I think I start Ahmad or bench him and start Munoz as a fourth defender. I think I would start Ahmad. Because you already got Henderson. I don't mind diversifying there. But that's just, my style. Like, I like to diversify a little bit. Kindoichi says, hi Leon, who would you advise to start between Robinson, Ben Heck, and Mikalenko? My other defenders are Trent and Gabriel. I'll go Van Heck. I'd actually go Van Heck. By the way, I'm going to follow you and activate my assistant manager chip for slot in Gameweek 24. Looking forward. I'm also looking forward to that. I think that'd be quite fun. Like, I was making the graphics just now for the transfer plans video that I'll release later tonight. And I was putting slot at the top right of the team graphic. And I was thinking, wow, that looks cool. Right, so I'm pretty excited for that as well. This is probably the first time we've had like the choice of buying a manager. So the man, the myth, the legend says, hello, FPL Consult. Have you heard the news on the Vissa accident? Is he available this game week? So yes, I've seen the news. It's not the accident to him, but it's more that while he was still playing in France, basically, there was an incident that happened, and he went to France this week to attend the hearing for that case, right? So the quote that I read after that report came out was that Thomas Frank said that Vissa's involvement in this Palace match for Gameweek 23 is not going to be impacted by him going to France for the hearing. So long story short, he will be back in time, and I think he's fine for Gameweek 23. There was a bit of a scare, I do admit. And also, not only this news for Vissa, but also the fact that there was bids from Nottingham Forest. It was a 22 million bid, which is honestly very, very low for a player like Johan Vissa. So it wasn't accepted, and I don't think it would if they're kind of bidding around that price range. But yeah, I don't think Vissa is a player that right now many people will be comfortable bringing in, but I've just taken a risk. I brought him in to stick to the strategy of assistant manager in 2024. And obviously, after the January transfer window, if Vissa is still in Brentford, which I hope is still the case, I do think that still be the case as well, then yeah, we're in the money. Gabriel or Robinson? Definitely prefer Gabriel. Stan going for the bench boost. I hope it works out for you. Would you rather hold until game week 30? Who would you rather hold until game week 30? Bruno or Mbumo? I have Bruno with 0 free transfers. I also have Ahmad and Vista in my team. The truth is that I prefer having Mbumo until 30. That is the truth. Munoz or Konsa? Bench 1. I bench Munoz. Decided to go for Konate instead of Gakpo because I just needed to transfer Vardiol out and have extra money in the bench. I'm wondering which two to start between Wood, João Pedro, or Ahmad. I'll start Wood and João Pedro and I'll bench Ahmad. We need more likes. Let me just have a look. We are on 62 likes. There's about, let me just check, 240 of you guys watching, which is incredible. There's 240 of you guys watching. Please do help us get to 100 likes. That's always the aim. So if you haven't dropped a like, please do drop a like in the stream. All right, let me just catch up with the chat. All right, so have to play bench boost as I have Aina, Robinson, João Pedro, and Fabianski. Looks like the best time to use it. I don't think so though. I think you could get a better bench later down the line, I'll be honest. Start Kyrgyz or Wood? I would start Wood. Gakpo or Wood this game week? I would go Gakpo. Raul or Semenyo? Raul. By Gakpo or Konate, I prefer Gakpo. Thank you for your answer. Last question. Mikalenko or Gabriel? Definitely Gabriel. Sayam says, hello Leon, start one of Sa, Munoz, Wood or Robinson. Wood. Chris Wood. Bench Sa or Wood? I would bench Sar. Gehi instead of Hall or Gabriel. If you can stretch to Munoz, I prefer Munoz. If not, I think Gehi is fine. The only thing is, you have to bear in mind that Crystal Palace and Newcastle are very likely to blank in 29. So you have to take note of that. And obviously have a plan for blanking week 29. Okay. Aina, Robinson. Aina for the better defense. Bench 2, Munoz, Ilanga, Ahmad, and Timber. I would start Timber, and I would start either one of Ahmad or Munoz. I think I might go Munoz and Timber and then bench Ilanga and Ahmad. Does that sound crazy? Yeah, I think I'd do that. Bench Ahmad, Vardiol or Munoz. I'm not super confident of Man City, to be honest. Okay, between the three though, who to bench? Ahmad, Vardiol or Munoz? I'm gonna say bench Ahmad, and I'll start Vardiol and Munoz. These are tricky though. These are very, very tricky. Bradley said, love your content. Jackson to Gakpo, Gabriel to Trent, and Milankovic to 4.5 for -4. I want to do Gabriel to Trent though. I'll try to keep Gabriel over the next few. I'm planning Foden to DS next week. Would you go early and do it this week instead? If you're 100% set on getting Diaz, then I'd say yes. But the issue is, I don't really like Diaz for predicted minutes over the next few. So I can't say that I recommend doing Foden to Diaz either this or next week. Play Murphy or Ahmad, definitely Murphy. Start Sa or João Pedro, I'll start João Pedro. So Wood for Mateta, am I crazy? Not really. That's fine. Bench Wood or Rogers, I would bench I'll bench Rogers and I start Wood. Just out of curiosity, why did you go Aina ahead of Robinson? Robinson's number of assists have been really high. I feel Forest will concede against Bournemouth. It's just a matter of the slightly better defense. The truth is, I think both probably will concede. But I think Aina has the slightly better defense in Nottingham Forest overall. If Forest win 1-0, I don't think I'd be surprised, right? And then for Robinson, I mean, yes, they're playing Manchester United, but Manchester United are very unpredictable. Like, maybe they could, nick a win. It's possible, right? So it's just a matter of trying to back the slightly better defense. For sure, Robinson has more attacking threat, but I also go so far as to say that Aina has decent enough potential. Like, we've seen him get returns, attacking returns this season. Is there a way to know how many people have Salah captain right now? Thank you for reminding me. I got to put up a captaincy poll. Let me just do it right now. All right, Gameweek 23 captaincy poll. Let's go Salah. Let's go ISAK. Who else do you guys want to see in the captaincy poll? Okay, I'm gonna put. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna put other as the third option. I'm only gonna put Salah and Isak, and then I'm gonna put other, and you comment in the chat. Let's see how many people have Salah captain. For me, currently, it's on Salah. Kendoichi says, thanks for the advice. Also want to say that I'm proud of you as a SG rep in the FPL community. Your content is high quality. Thank you very, very much for that. I really appreciate that, Kendoichi. Haaland and Salah to Salah and Gakpo for a -4. Yes, I would do that. Start one of Aguero, Drogba, Shearer. What's your opinion on these conversations around benching Wood? Should we sell him for Gakpo? I would sell Wood for Gakpo this week. I know it's not, I don't want to sit on the fence for this one because I know different people have different opinions and it's a headache for a lot of people. But I would say that if I had that dilemma, I would lean towards doing it, dependent on your chip strategy. Like, everything that I say today obviously is dependent on your chip strategy. Like, why I haven't gone for Gakpo is simply because I want to save that Liverpool slot for Arne slot. Who should I get if I can't afford Trent from Liverpool and don't need a striker? I guess you could go Van Dijk or Konate, but yeah, you're just missing out on your attacking threat then. It's a compromise you have to make. Bench Wood or Rogers? I would bench Rogers for Wood. Thoughts on Dango Otara as the differential Bournemouth mid to play? I just think that if I'm going for a differential, Kluivert is enough of a differential from Bournemouth and he's on penalties. So I prefer Kluivert to Otara. Pedro or Gakpo, definitely Gakpo. Rogers or Wood to bench, I would. If I get this wrong, I've had this question so many times this stream already. Rogers or Wood to bench. I'm going to say start Wood because he's on penalties. But I know full well that I'm hoping Rogers gets something and then I'm going to be completely wrong. But Rogers is in my team, right? So, but just based off of the decision alone and how Wood is on penalties, I do think like I would start Wood ahead of Rogers. Do you reckon doing Jackson to Gakpo and Milenkovic to Konate would be better for free? I think those moves are fine. It's just that you acknowledge that you're going for Konate, he wouldn't have as good attacking threat as Trent. Excuse me. Made a differential move because of Spurs injuries and good fixtures. Foden to Maddison. I hope that works out for you. If there's anything to say about Maddison, I think he played a really good game in Europe this week. So That's what's going well for Madison. But aside from that, I think minutes wise, just have to kind of manage our expectations. Yeah, so many Wood and Rogers. Um, so many Wood and Rogers dilemmas. I really hope I get this one right for you guys, but I would still start Chris Wood. Who is the best captain, Isak or Salah? Right, I think a lot of, yeah. As I've seen in the voting in the poll now, Salah is 88%. Like, he's definitely going to be the one that a lot of people captain. 100 points off my mini league. Will you risk going Isak today? Nah, I still wouldn't. I try to find other ways to go different. Sar or Ahmad or Jackson or Robinson or Wood? Bench 2. I would bench Robinson and Ismail Assar. Vissa or Mateta, start 1. I would go Mateta. Gakpo captaincy differential. that would be an insane differential. Bench Mbumo or Rogers? I can't see myself benching Mbumo, to be honest. Netherlands will be traveling to Malaysia and Singapore in July. Very, very nice. I hope you enjoy that. Thoughts on Richarlison? Not for me. Not for me. Surely if you're bringing in a forward now, you're probably going Gakpo, right? At that price range as well. Munoz or Aina to start? I don't mind going Munoz. If you're not doubling up on the Crystal Palace defense. Like if you don't have Henderson, for example. What are the chances of Arsenal clean sheet, honestly? I think it's pretty high against Wolves. I think it would be high this week. Already have Salah and Van Dijk. Who should I buy from Liverpool, Trent or Gakpo? Or sell Van Dijk for Trent and Gakpo? Very confused. If you already have Van Dijk, I just take the double Liverpool defense as my triple up. I wouldn't waste transfer to sell one of them for an attacker. Poro a good sell to get some funds. Yes, but not this week. He has Leicester this week. João Pedro or Gakpo? Prefer Gakpo. Thoughts on Trent captaincy? Not for me this week when there's Salah. Wolverine says 100 likes already. Have we? Have we gotten there? Oh, very, very nice. Thank you all so much. 106 likes already. So thank you all. I'm going to stop yapping about the likes because every time we're on course to hit 100 likes, I try to get the likes up. But yeah, thanks for getting us there. Start one of Munoz, Sarr, or Jacob Murphy. I would start Jacob Murphy. Who would you start, Gakpo or Mateta? I try to start both. Bradley says, play Henderson or Fabianski. I'm playing in Bumo too. I play Henderson, just go for the safe points. Like Fabianski, I'm pretty sure is going to concede loads of goals to West Ham. To Aston Villa. Bench Gabriel or Munoz, or start both to bench Burn. I would start Gabriel for sure. I wouldn't bench both. I would start Gabriel. Thank you very much for becoming a tier 1 member, Bradley, Hannah. Really appreciate that. I haven't really pushed memberships this season because I just wanted to yeah, let it run its course. So thank you for becoming a tier 1 member. I really appreciate that. Enzo to Murphy. That seems like a very short-sighted move, so I pretty much won't do that. I'm not allowed to captain Salah or Isak this week. Who should I? Not allowed to captain Salah or Isak this week. Maybe that's your mini league rule, I guess. But if it's anyone else, maybe Gordon in that list there that you've said. I wanted to put Fabianski as a goalkeeper. I'm free to double up on the Arsenal defense. What do you think? Nah, I would double up on the Arsenal defense. I don't think Fabianski over. I don't think Fabianski over Raya is what I would do this week. Watching from Thailand, following you with the assistant manager tip. Thank you very much for your help. Yeah, thank you for the support. Really appreciate that. Bench 1 from Robinson, Rogers, and Robertson. Probably bench Robinson. Do you recommend Chalobah? I wouldn't. Who would you bench in my situation? Gakpo, Mateta, Wood, Isak. How you can't have 4 forwards. You can't have Gakpo, Mateta, Wood, and Isak. Bradley says, really can't decide between doing Gabriel to Trent for a -4 or Milenkovic to Konate for free. I'll go Milenkovic to Konate for free. That's what I would lean towards. Many content creators are saying that assistant managership is not at all recommended in Gameweek 24, but you seem to be there 90%. Why the diametrically opposite views? That's a big word. Yeah, I mean, it's just the fact that I want to play different a little bit, and I think the reasons for why I want to use the assistant manager chip are sound enough or valid enough that is worth using it now. For sure, it's taking a risk, right? But something I've kind of promised myself this season is that I don't want to do what everyone is doing, unless obviously it makes complete sense. But if not, if there's room to go different at times, or if there's a way that I can strategize to try and find some differential gains, I don't mind playing it different. So for sure there's good reason to delay it, but I think there's also good reason to use it. So I'm just gonna go on the end of using it, and yeah, I'm hoping it works out well. Should I sell Haaland against Chelsea or should I start? I've brought him in 4 weeks ago. Rank is around 30k. I think if you have him, it's fine to start. If not, if selling him means you get triple Liverpool, then I wouldn't mind selling him. Best midfielder under 6.9 million. Right now, I'll probably buy Clivert. Probably the only one I would go for. Like Eze is up there, but I think I prefer Mateta to Eze. One more question. Double defense or double attack from Liverpool? I prefer double attack. Okay, I have to use the washroom for a little bit. I will be back. Okay, I'm back. Apologies for that. Bench Luis Diaz or Rogers? Can you really bench Luis Diaz this week though? I try to start both, Kevin. If not, then I prefer Luis Diaz. Bradley says, love the content, bro. You're always streaming early, which is nice for us New Zealanders. Yeah, I mean, we stream super early on the channel. Like at first it was 3 hours before, but now it's 4 hours before. So yeah, I'm glad it works out for the timing for those in different parts of the world. I need to free up 0.5 for slot. Downgrade sells Gabriel or Mateta. Is there other ways? Because I'm not too keen on selling any of these players. Insane Gamer says, hello consult. I'm really tempted for ISAK captain, as he would be sharper than Salah, and Southampton are worse than Ipswich. I mean, it's fair enough. If you prefer to captain ISAK, there's a reason why he's the second most popular captain this week. So if you want to go different, fair enough. Start Raul or take a -4 and get Mbumo in selling Winks. Just start Raul Jimenez. Bench 1, Mbumo, Rogers, Gordon, Rogers. Thoughts on Iwobi or Sar? If it's starting one this week, I'll start Sar. But honestly, both of them, I wouldn't mind transferring them out soon. Clivert or Ahmad? I prefer Clivert for pens. Aina, Robinson, Poro. I would start Poro. Gabriel Anthony says, watching all the way from Woodlands. Very nice. Yep, Rishabh, no worries at all. Bradley, play Semenyo or João Pedro. I don't know. I just don't like the idea of João Pedro against Everton this week. But he's on pens and Semenyo isn't. It's close. I'll also say that Semenyo's role in recent times have been much more promising than it was at the earlier parts of the season. Right, because I do think like after all the forwards got injured, like Evan Nielsen got injured, who else got injured? Enes Unal got injured. Since then, I think Semenyo has been playing in a very, very promising position, like further forward, more central. So in that case, I might prefer Semenyo, but it's just he's playing against Nottingham Forest. I think okay, I'll go João Pedro for this one if it's Semenyo or João Pedro. What's the maximum amount of points gained if you punt the AM chip on table bonus and manage to get all 3 wins out of 3 with clean sheets from the underdog team? I think it's about 60-ish points, if I'm not wrong. Should be 60-ish points. So the range of points you can get from the assistant manager chip is quite insane. It's quite insane. But again, as I said in the chip strategy video, to target table bonus sounds very good and also sounds like you'll get a lot of points, but the truth is that it's very hard to pinpoint exactly which fixture is going to get you that table bonus. So honestly, we just have to manage our expectations a little bit. Like it is a gamble after all. You're trying to gamble on an underdog winning, right? So it's a calculated gamble, I guess. Please recommend 3 Liverpool, 3 Everton for Gameweek 24. I can't do that because I honestly don't think that's the way to go. Can probably go for 11 doublers and a strong bench in 33 with free transfers only. Free hit Game week 34, wildcard 35 to play AM 36 to 38. Is that a bad plan? Um, I guess it could work. But I would say that if you're going for a bench boost in a double game week, then only 11 doubles is probably not ideal. Like if you're already bench boosting, then I try to get 15 doublers basically, right? With free transfers only, free hit in 34, wildcard in 35 to play AM 36. Yeah, I mean it's a decent strategy. It's just that if you're bench boosting, you would ideally want doublers all around, like even on your bench. But I think it's interesting. This you may not need to save 1.5 if you wildcard in 30 and then bench boost in 33. Wildcard in 30, bench boost in 33, and then start freeing up funds from your bench to AM in 36. That is possible. That is possible. That could work. But again, it'll use transfers then later down the line. Would you do Wood and Martinelli to Semenyo and Gakpo this week for free? Wood, Martinelli to Semenyo and Gakpo. No. I don't think I would do it because I don't mind keeping Martinelli against Wolves and I don't mind having Wood. Semenyo and Gakpo, okay, it depends, right? If it's for free and if over the long term, your plan is to have Gakpo, then I probably would. But if not, do I think Wood and Martinelli would be fine to start this week as well? I think yes. Bench Wood, Mateta, or Rogers? I would bench Rogers in this case. Have you still got triple captain? No, don't have. I've used it in game week 2. Should I play Palmer? Yes, for sure you should. I'm afraid of Luis Diaz's minutes, but since you are the GOAT, I trust you. I'm not recommending Luis Diaz. Like, if you're afraid of Luis Diaz minutes, I am afraid too. I don't recommend Luis Diaz. Amount of Pedro, I would go Pedro for pens, I guess. Bruno to Gordon, Jackson to Gakpo for -4. I think Bruno to Gordon feels a bit short-sighted. I think Bruno to Mbumo and Jackson to Gakpo for -4. Yes, I would do that. Bradley says, can't wait. Love benching Semenyo. Benched 17 points over the last 2 game weeks. Yeah, sometimes it's like that. I've benched Semenyo points as well. At least 10. At least 10. I remember there was a week that I benched him and he got 10 points. Have all my chips left. Would AM still be a good play for 24? Hoping for a double in 25 too. Yeah, again, it depends, right? If you have all your chips left, definitely your double game weeks that are remaining, which is 24, 33, and 36, you would definitely be playing a chip in each of them. So I would say if you have all your chips, I would favor. I mean, okay, this is obviously based off of my own assessment of the assistant manager chip, and I don't mind using it now in 24, and then triple captain in either one of 33 or 36, whichever one you don't bench boost. Yep. Dual captain Salah in 24, the last best chance. I don't think so, because if you use AM in 24, you can triple captain Salah against Leicester plus another team, potentially Aston Villa, in game week 33. 4K overall rank, incredible. Very, very nice. Get Gakpo for Mateta or wait until next week. I wouldn't sell Mateta for Gakpo. Start Rogers, Ahmad, or Palmer. I would start Rogers and Palmer and bench Ahmad. No, Gameweek 33 could be Leicester. Yeah, exactly. Aston Villa and Leicester for Salah. Ahmad or Sa? I prefer Sa over Ahmad. I have no idea where you can make 0.5 from. My team is similar to yours, but I have Gordon/Wood instead of your Brentford double. If you want to make 0.5, if it's similar to mine, can you downgrade the other keeper though? Because if in my position I really had to free up funds, then I would probably sell Flecken down to, a bench for the keeper. Triple Haaland 36 against Southampton. Triple captain Haaland in 36. Yeah, I mean, it depends, right? Because there's only a number of double game weeks left. It's limited. So whichever week you don't bench boost, you can triple captain, but I'm sure there are opportunities down the line. This is not the only last week. It's only because people are favoring assistant manager for the later game weeks. If you are as well, then yes, there will be limited chances because you're likely going to bench boost and assistant manager if you get to that point and you haven't used them. In which case, you're kind of forced to triple captain in 24 now. But you could reverse that. You could AM in 24 and you could triple captain later down the line. I'll be honest here and I'll say that against Bournemouth and against Everton, I honestly don't expect, I could be wrong, but I don't expect there to be many goals for Liverpool. But if you ask me, in 33, against Leicester and against Aston Villa, do I think there will be more goals for someone like Mohamed Salah? I do think so. Right, so in that case, I think it's just a viable strategy. Like I know a lot of people may not be open to AM24, but yeah, it is one of the strategies that I prefer. And for those who are following and going for AM24 as well, like bear in mind that it could go either way, right? It's not something that would pay off immediately. I mean, it could, but if it doesn't, there's also an added advantage that later down the line, as we wildcard, we don't need to take into account saving 1.5 million. So I think that really helps. So the advantage for AM now is just, or at least how I would weigh the outcome, it's not just based on the points, but we need to view it over the long term, right? Later on when we wildcard, not needing to save 1.5, like how does that play out? Does that give us a stronger bench? Can we bench boost and get more points, basically? So that's how I would assess the chip. Okay, I rambled on a little bit. I have to apologize. Would you play João Pedro or Rogers? Yeah, I've answered this one. I think I would slightly lean towards João Pedro. Munoz versus Gabriel. I would definitely start Gabriel. Would you start Salah over Ahmad if you already have Mateta and gamble with a Palace haul? Salah over Ahmad if you already have Mateta. I don't think I would double Palace. I don't think I would go double Palace. This guy answers everyone, unlike other streams. Great content and all the best, bro. Thank you very much, Mahmood. Well, I don't think I answer every single one because there's so many questions. But again, like if I miss any of your questions, just drop it in again. Let me know I've missed it for a number of times and I'll make sure I get to your questions. Best keeper to pick now might be Alisson if I'm in the market for one. If not, I think it's thin. I think the options aside of Alisson are honestly thin. Is free hit 29 viable if I retain Liverpool and Newcastle until then? 100% viable. It is viable. And it's especially viable if you are looking at your team right now. And it's very possible for this to happen if you have triple Newcastle, so like a Lewis Hall, Gordon, and ISAK, and you have triple Crystal Palace for some reason. Say you have Munoz, Sa, and Mateta. So triple Newcastle, triple Crystal Palace, and triple Liverpool, let's say, right? Trent, Salah, Gakpo, for example. And then maybe a Rogers in there. That's already 10 players blanking in 29. Very likely to blank. In which case, I almost think it's a no-brainer for you to free hit in 29 to just get out of it, right? The value of the chip is honestly in how many transfers you need to use to, get players who play, but also in what it allows your team to look like before and after the chip. So in your case, I think it's pretty much, decided for you if that's the case, because I've seen a team on Twitter be in that spot. Triple Newcastle, triple Liverpool, triple Crystal Palace, and Rogers. That is just many, many players blanking in 29. Obviously, dependent on the result in the AFL Cup, right? I'm sure that game, many people are going to watch that game because it decides pretty much so many things. It decides double game week 25. Is that going to happen? Decides who blanks in 29. And who blanks in 29 ultimately decides who doubles in 33. So that game is going to be intense. Think I'll use the AM for Spurs in later game weeks. Hopefully they pick up pace near the end. Yeah, that's fair as well. I really want to AM in 24, but just don't have any money, so probably going to triple captain. What's the windows for AM? AM, if you don't do it in 24, it's 31 or 36. I'm just having a think. Like the combination that we spoke about just now, which is wildcard 30 and then bench boost 33. That combination may not require you to save 0.5 because then you can drop your bench player. Say you go for a rather expensive one, you can free up 1.5 from there to AM in 36 to 38. So that is the combination that probably wouldn't require you to save money on your wildcard. But that again depends on which is the bigger double, right? 36 could be the bigger double, in which case you want more double game week players and you want to bench boost then. And if that's the case, then you might want to AM earlier. And then if you AM earlier in 31, then you have to sacrifice 1.5. Sorry, I'm just rambling. I'm just thinking about different strategies. How the doubles fall would pretty much also decide the most popular window for AM later down the line. Right, whether it's 31 or 36 would depend on how the doubles fall, which again we have to rely on Ben Krellin, and he'll get a better picture or a clearer picture come game week 30. ISAK had 7 days of rest, scored a hat-trick in Newcastle's last away fixture, even though Salah still outperformed him that week. Personally, I think it's best to captain ISAK this week. Well, 84% or 85% for Salah after 400 votes. ISAK is 14%. I think Salah is definitely favourite, but if you want to gamble against him and go ISAK, fair enough. I can bring Gakpo for Jackson, but have cheap mids and no money with 5 free transfers. What to do? Gakpo for Jackson, or at least triple Liverpool, is something I would prioritize. So I don't mind doing that move, especially if you have 5 free transfers. Then the rest of your transfers, it depends on who else is in your team. What is your team value? I'm a 104.9. I'm a 103.9 in terms of actual players in my team and how much they cost. And then in the bank, I have 1.6 million. Defensive headache. Bench one between Castagna, Vandenberg, and Munoz. I would bench Vandenberg without batting an eyelid. Is it worth going triple Liverpool today ahead of 24? I can buy either Alisson or Pickford. What would you do? I think I've seen people go Alisson. I think it's an okay strategy. Like going Alisson is an okay strategy. Sell João Pedro to Gakpo, that would require 2 free transfers, or sell Raya to Alisson for 1 free transfer. I would prefer João Pedro to Gakpo if it is still on free transfers. Issue is you prefer, yeah. So I would prefer that as well. I would prefer double attack as well. Doing Pedro to Gakpo and Colwell to a generic 3.9 defender. Who is the best 3.9? I think all of them don't play. So yeah, take your pick. Play Luka Dean or Robinson. I think Luka Dean for this better fixture. If I would, is it worth to get Gakpo and start one of them with ISAK as I'll play with 5 in midfield? If I had Wood and you're selling him to get Gakpo, I would make that move. I'm not sitting on the fence with that one. Nicholas says, I have a sneaky feeling we get outplayed against Fulham and Robinson Halls. And that would be disaster because he's second on my bench. He is second on the bench. Boomo and Vista will be a massive train in Gameweek 24-25, I reckon. Yeah, I'm trying to go early. And also the Spurs fixture for them is actually what like really draws me. Like this one at home at the G-Tech. I think this one it could be like 3-3, 4-3. I mean, that one is gonna go crazy. I mean, it has goals just written all over that fixture. What do you think of a Szoboszlai punt? Only triple Liverpool I can get to with one free transfer because you own Eze. So the thing is with Szoboszlai, I think he will pretty much start the next few because Curtis Jones is nursing a bit of a knock. So I do think like Szoboszlai would be pretty secure for minutes, but I just don't think the upside is as good for him as compared to someone like Gakpo. So I don't mind just going double Liverpool now if you can't get Gakpo and then getting Gakpo later down the line. I much prefer Gakpo to Szoboszlai. Bench Robinson for Gehi. No. I think there's not enough upside with Gehi. Like if it's Munoz, fair enough. Like he has attacking threat. But if it's Gehi, I don't mind just switching that around. I bench Gehi and I start Robinson. Start Ahmad or Robinson, I always start the attacker in this case. So Ahmad. Trent, Gabriel, Timber, Munoz, and Hall. Who do I start? Hall for sure. It's Trent, Gabriel, and Hall. And then between Timber and Munoz, I'm okay to bench Munoz. But Timber, if you can start, I don't mind starting him ahead of someone like... If in midfield you're starting Ismail Assar, I prefer Timber to him. If you're starting Ahmad, I prefer starting Timber to Ahmad. Sar or Ahmad, I prefer... Sar or Ahmad, I prefer Sar for the better fixture. Wood or Rogers, I prefer Wood. Okay, I'm gonna have to get a sip of water. There's 265 of you guys, by the way. Thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. It's Game Week 23. So for us to have 265 people watching is incredible. Okay, let's go. Let's get back to all your questions. If you guys are watching and you do enjoy the stream, please help me out and subscribe to the channel. That one really goes a long way. We're actually closing in on 10,900 subscribers, so we're getting really close to 11k. Hopefully we get there in the next few weeks, I hope. Right, where did I leave off? Okay, Timber on my bench, Henderson as my goalkeeper. Should I sell Wood for Gakpo? I have Vissa. I'll get Allison. Wood to Gakpo is what I would do. Thinking either Odegaard to Diaz or Wood and Odegaard to Gakpo plus Mbumo. Gakpo plus Mbumo. This one is that I prefer that one. Aina Robinson, I go Aina for the slightly better defense. Rogers or Semenyo, I prefer Rogers. Do I have to join memberships to ask questions on this stream? You don't have to. Like, I try to answer everyone's questions. It doesn't really matter whether you're a member or not. It's just that if the chat goes crazy, like in times where there's um a lot of different comments in the chat, then I have to try and at least prioritize the members. So yeah, that's pretty much only when. But I don't think we've had many times this season that I haven't been able to manage the chat. So yeah, I'll answer all the questions. It's okay. Raul or Calvert Lewin? Between those two, I'm gonna say Fulham's fixtures moving forward aren't as good. So that's the only reason why I'm preferring Calvert Lewin in this case. Only because you're giving me these two options. But there are better options out there. Like I would prefer Vissa, for example. Would you bench Bruce this Sells Munoz Sarr Robinson? It seems good now, but I honestly tell you, I think later down the line you get a better bench. FPL Echo says, how hot is it in Singapore? Well, the honest answer is that recently it's been pretty cold in Singapore. Like it's been raining a lot, and yeah, it's just been cold, I would say. But obviously, compared to the rest of the world, I think our cold is not as cold as like London, for example. I could free up 0.5 a slot by going Colwell to Mikalenko, Wood to Vissa. Would you do it? Yes, but I don't think it's necessary to make those moves now. I think you could do it in 24 instead. Do you think United scores against Fulham? Man, I tell you, Manchester United are the hardest team to predict this season. So I honestly am not even going to. What is the point in predicting Manchester United results? Because honestly, I tell you the truth, they don't even know how they're gonna perform. Like they don't even know which Manchester United is gonna show up. Like that's the truth. Like no disrespect to Manchester United, but that honestly feels like how they're playing right now. Sarr or Wood? Which one should I bench? I think you bench Sarr and you start Wood. Biggest headache is to actually bench Rogers or João Pedro. Not gonna bench Wood. If it's between the two, Rogers or João Pedro, wow, that is really tricky. I have to flip a coin on that one. Like this is really tricky. But I would say that in terms of data, at least, like João Pedro's data just hasn't been super good. Though he did have a ruled out goal last week. Whereas VJ, I think VJ was here earlier on in the stream, Nicholas. He's gone for now. I think he's left. Busy. Gakpo for Wood, Ali for Henderson, Timber for Virgil. Gakpo for Wood, yes, I would do. Ali for Henderson means no Trent then. Means you wouldn't have Trent. If you don't have Trent, then I think I go for Allison instead of Henderson because that one means that you save more money. And keeping Timber is fine as well. Who would you bench? Mbumo. Would you bench Mbumo for Wood? I wouldn't bench Mbumo. I wouldn't bench Wood as well. I think you bench someone else. Rishab says, missed my question. Apologies for that, missing your question. Sell Pedro or Wood for Gakpo? This one is definitely selling Pedro. New subscriber. Just subscribed, new subscriber. Thank you all of you guys for subscribing. I appreciate that. We are closing in on 11k subscribers. That would be a huge milestone for the channel. Should I bench Jimenez, Sarr, or Gordon? I would bench Sarr. Your top 50k, don't you think going differential captaincy would be the good risk this game week with majority captaining Salah? It's just a matter of whether I think going different this week makes sense. In other weeks where there's no clear captain, I prefer to use those weeks to go Maverick. But in weeks like this, where there's so clearly a preferential captain, I guess as in I would prefer the captain Salah, but I guess there's also huge reward if I go against Salah. Right? Everyone's gonna captain Salah. If he blanks, then I could get a haul if I go ISAK, for example. But I just don't think this week is worth the risk. Like it's not something that I would do this week. Amaro Rogers, I'll start Rogers. Target next 4 fixtures. Suggest a wildcard. A wildcard team is on my Instagram. I have posted it this week already. Soon I will start to make wildcard videos again. Like I know the wildcard is going to be very, very popular over the next few weeks. I would say starting from game week 30, that would be wildcard windows. But potentially, if people want to start wildcarding earlier, you need to bear in mind the Gameweek 29 blank as well. So if you're wildcarding earlier, I do think you're pretty much locking in a free hit 24. Sorry, free hit 29. But I have to have a closer look at that before I do the wildcard videos. But excuse me. Wildcard videos will be back soon. Not to worry. Wildcard videos will be back soon. All right, I promise. Bench Mitoma, Rogers, or Ahmad. I would bench Ahmad. What was your points for Game Week 21 and 22? Let's have a look. Okay, 21 was... Okay, this was the week that I scored 108 points. This one was insane. I mean, like the Ahmad, the Foden, the captain ISAK. This one went crazy this week. I even benched Rogers. So 108 for 21. 61 for Game Week 22. I mean, safe to say, like, these past 2 weeks has just been really, really good for me. So I'm hoping that the train continues. Right, we're in 23 now. Like, I don't imagine that the green arrows are going to be as big as they were the past few weeks, but I'm just hoping that the assistant manager chip in 24 works out well. Okay. Pedro or Rogers, who should I start? I mean, this was the one, right? This was the one that I think you need to flip a coin on that one. But Pedro's data just hasn't been as good. Martin, nice to see you. Have a good game week to you as well. Should I play Palmer or Jackson? I would be definitely starting Palmer this week. Why did you buy Mateta instead of Gakpo? I bought Mateta many weeks ago. I bought him in game week 18, if I'm not wrong. Many weeks ago. I just haven't bought Gakpo this week. I bought Vissa instead. Green B says, should I bring in Konate and Calvin or Ilman and Jai? This week, I mean, I do think like Everton players, I just wouldn't recommend. Like if you're bringing Everton players, I would keep it to maximum Mikalenko and one attacker. Either one of Iliman and Jai or Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I wouldn't have a look at any other Everton players. Pickford maybe, but then if you're at that price point, okay, Pickford maybe, but then I wouldn't go for Mikalenko then. So it's either one of Pickford and Mikalenko, and then up front it's either one of Injai or Calvert-Lewin. Yep, just give up on United. One day we outplay Liverpool. Next day we get dominated by Southampton. It's just hard to call, you know? It's hard to call. Yeah, thanks, Nicholas. Gakpo plus Pickford versus Becker, Calvert-Lewin. I prefer Gakpo plus Pickford. Gakpo for Wood or Diaz for Eze. Definitely Gakpo for Wood. Robinson, Kirkes, Jao Pedro, Ahmad. Start 2, bench 2. I would start Jao Pedro and either one of Ahmad or Kirkes. Good morning. Bench Semenyo or Sa? I would bench Ismail Assar for Semenyo. Should I bring Konate in this week? You could if you want him as your third Liverpool asset, but you are not getting, firstly, as good attacking threat as compared to Trent. So you have to bear in mind that he's pretty much just going to be clean sheets. At least the good thing is that Slot has come out to say that he can play 3 games a week now. That's what he said. But, I do imagine there's going to be lots of rotation over the next few games. The knee injury would worry me a little bit then. Flip side is if you don't captain Salah and he bangs, you could easily drop 100% OR. Yeah, exactly that as well. Gakpo or Wood? I prefer Gakpo. I would do Wood to Gakpo. Gakpo for Raul Jimenez. Is this a good move this week? 100%. It is a good move. Robinson, Kirkes, João Pedro, Ahmad, start 2, bench 2. I also have Semenyo. Oh, I've answered this one. Ahmad or Raul? I would go Raul. Want to buy Visa, but I'm worried to not get Gakpo. It depends on your chip strategy then. I'm happy to go without Gakpo only because I know I will be using Slot in 24. Any recommendations? Team budget is 5 million. You mean in the bank? 5 million in the bank. Raya, Castagna, Hall, Cucurella, Mbumo, Palmer, Salah, Diaz, Wood, ISAK. I would find a way to get a Liverpool defender, maybe for Cucurella. If you have funds, since you have 3 free transfers and 5 million, I would do that. Start João Pedro or Sa. I would start Sa or João. I prefer João Pedro. Rogers, Bruno, Vissa, Wood, bench 1. Either one of Vissa or Rogers. Pickford or Sells, I would start Sells still. Bench 1. I mean, Pickford is playing Brighton, so I honestly don't think he keeps a clean sheet as well. Because Brighton's at the MX. So I think still Sells. Honestly, if Nottingham Forest win 1-0 and Chris Wood scores a goal, I wouldn't be surprised. We're also on 170 likes. I think this is the most likes we've had on a stream. Incredible. What are you doing with the magic chip in 24? I'm activating it and putting it on Slot. Hey mate, the stream cut on my end. Did you say Sa or Mbumo or Young for Robinson? Sa or Mbumo and Young or Robinson. I don't think I would recommend Young, and I also wouldn't go Sa. I would say Mbumo and Robinson then. Vienda says, I'm telling you, Leon, play Ahmad. He's going to cook. The truth is that I have benched Ahmad points this season already. I have benched his points before, so I'm immune to it already. But I can't start him ahead of any other of my players, I'll be honest. Aina or Hausen? Aina. Going for a Son captain today. Very maverick. I like it. You have to find a couch for the Liverpool game though. How do you feel about upgrading Fabianski to Alisson? Keep Sells until his games get better. Fabianski to Alisson. I think the good thing, at least with that kind of rotation, is that you will have a keeper for 29. But either ways, if you sell it's gonna sound, if you sell Matt Sells for Alisson, it frees up more funds for you because at least you still cover the Fabianski um, game in 29. Like you have a playing keeper in 29 because Allison will blank in 29, very likely. So I would actually say I prefer going at Allison in for cells and then having Fabianski as your bench keeper. I would prefer that combination. Bench Aino or Robinson. I would bench Robinson. Is it okay to double up on Bumo and Vissa? Yes, I've done it. Start Jao Pedro or Sa. I prefer Jao Pedro. I've answered that one. Robinson or Trent? Definitely Trent. Are you playing the manager chip next week? Yes. Should I bench Boost, Verbruggen, Jao Pedro, Munoz, and Timber? I think you will find a better bench. Ooh, yours is pretty good though. I've seen the other benches of people who have asked this question. This is probably the best one I've seen. There's a case for this. There's a case for this. But again, like, would you not rather save it for a double game week? It really like you bench boosting in a single game week versus doing it in a double game week. A lot of it comes down to what kind of FPL manager you are as well. Like if you're fine to just take a risk like this, you could go for it. Can't afford Trent. Should I go Virgil or Konate? I prefer Van Dijk just for safety if it's between the two. Start two from Pedro, Rogers, and Sa. I would go. Start two from Pedro, Rogers, and Sa. I would start Pedro and Rogers. Start Vardiol or Milenkovic. I would start Milenkovic. I mean, Vardiol, honestly, Man City, this game, they're not going to have a lot of first team defenders. It's one first team centre back, and Ruben Diaz is out. They're probably going to have to start either Simpson, PUZ, or one of their new signings. Thing is, I'm actually excited for the new signings. Like, I want to see how, like, Marmoush, how's he going to play? And the couple of defenders that they've signed as well. I'm interested to know how they impact Man City. Honestly, if Man City start to look really, really good, the assistant manager in 26 here, Man City versus Liverpool, like it's completely possible. It's completely possible. I might. I might just do the table bonus on Man City, but that obviously depends on them being 5 places below Liverpool. So, all right. Chat is going crazy a little bit. There's 292 of you guys. Incredible. If you guys are watching, please do drop a like. Maybe get us to a new milestone today. And also, please do subscribe. We're closing in on 11K subscribers. We might be able to get there before the Gameweek 24 deadline. We might. So, yeah, if you haven't subscribed and you're watching, please do just scroll down a little bit. Take a second or two to subscribe. Thoughts on Semenyo to Mbumo, leaving me with the midfield of Salah, Palmer, Mbumo, Gordon Rogers. Yes, I like that. I like that move. But what I would say also, okay, I don't like it if eventually you're going to do Gordon down to a Bournemouth midfielder again. Then in that case, I just delay Semenyo to Mbumo and only do Gordon to Mbumo later down the line. That's what I would do. Do you not think using slot in 24 is missing out on an opportunity cost versus a future double game week with more teams doubling? I'm pretty sure that I would want to, all right, come the time that people activate their assistant manager chip, I'm pretty sure that it will be a mix of a couple of things. Some games you would want to play it on teams that are good and also likely to win. Some games you will want, some weeks you will want to play it on a table bonus. So I think later down the line, I'm pretty sure that you would be keen to play it on a team like Liverpool as well, or if Man City look good, maybe Man City. But that basically means that, firstly, when I look at matchups wise, this week, if I miss out this set of fixtures, Bournemouth and Everton, if I don't have an attacker, do I imagine lots of goals to happen? Not exactly. Like Bournemouth and Everton are decent enough defenses. Everton is only because it's a Merseyside derby. That's why I'm giving them a little bit more respect for against Liverpool. But then later down the line, when there's Leicester, for example, and Aston Villa, I don't mind having a third attacker. So that's pretty much why I'm okay to take the risk and just use it now. But many other reasons, right? Like that's not the only ones. Nicholas says, "Hey mate, would you go Rogers or Vissa? Love from Australia." Firstly, thanks for tuning in from Australia. And also, would you go Rogers or Vissa? I think I would prefer Rogers. Just about. Yes, please do like, please do subscribe. Thank you, VJ. Nicholas was asking for you just now. Bench 1 from Pedro, Rogers, and Sa. I would bench Ismail Assar. Start Aina or Robinson, I would start Aina. Jackson for Gakpo, yes. Can we get 250 likes? Let's hope. We are on 194 likes. That might be a record, you know. If you are not going to use the assistant manager chip next week, when would you use it and on who? If it's not in 24, it'll be 31 or 36. But I think what's more likely is that it'll be 36 already. Pikachu says, thanks, Leon. Might just take the gamble. I hope it works out for you. Bench Rogers or Raul? Wow. I mean, Raul Jimenez has pens. Wow, this is tricky. The benching dilemmas this week are on another level. Really, really tricky decisions for you guys. Rogers or Raul, I would say just about Rogers. Raul is on pens, but I would say it's a slightly trickier fixture. Just about. Start Rogers or Wood, I would prefer to start Wood. If free hit at 29, what's the best game week for a wildcard? If you free hit in game week 29, I'm pretty sure that you can delay the wildcard until game week 35. It's possible. Start Vissa or Rogers. Yeah, just about Rogers for this one. Okay, I'm gonna have to speed through the questions. What do you think my team is missing? Gabriel, right? Just as I say, I want to speed through it. Okay, please help me out and do like A or B questions. That's better, okay? Haida and also Davies family. Wait, I'm leaning towards starting Ahmad over Sarr. Fulham kept one home clean sheet this season to Southampton. Not saying United will surely win, but they'll score. What about Sarr's minutes? I guess if you put it in this perspective, but I still think that United are just so hard to predict, right? If you prefer to go Ahmad over Sarr, it's fair enough, right? Both of them, I don't think there'd be too much difference. Famous last words, but yeah. Robinson or Trent? Definitely Trent. Van Dijk or Konate? I prefer Van Dijk for. I prefer Van Dijk for the safety of minutes. Can you say hello to my girlfriend Jess? Hello Jess. Shout out to you. Kulu is a good differential. Yes, Who is a good differential? Start Aina or Robinson. I prefer Aina. Start Palmer or Trossard. I prefer Palmer. I'm gonna speed through all these. Raya, Bruno, Pedro to Pickford, Mbumo, Gakpo for a -4. Not this week. Start Rogers or Ahmad. I prefer Rogers. Sell João Pedro for Gakpo this week or wait till next week. Sell this week. Bench Semenyo, Sa or Visa. I would bench Sa. Do I start Palmer or Trossard? Start Palmer. Stated you play Rogers over Visa. Please explain your thinking. It's basically because I think Crystal Palace are better defense than West Ham. Simple as that. And I think minutes-wise, I'm pretty sure both get good minutes. If not, I think Rogers is better for minutes, slightly. Bench João Pedro or Ahmad. I would bench Ahmad for João Pedro. Start Jimenez or Kluivert. I would start Jimenez. Just about though. Just about. Who should I play? Fabianski or Sanchez? I would... Who's more likely to get saved? Because I'm telling you, both are going to concede. Who is more likely to get saves? Maybe Sanchez? Maybe. Bench 1, Robinson, Ben Heck, or Ismail Assar. I would bench either Robinson or Sa. I will start Ben Heck. Who should I bench? Pedro or Ahmad? I would bench Ahmad for Pedro. Should I sell Wood to Gakpo? Yes, I would do it. Start Bruno or Rogers? Start Bruno. Stan, welcome back. Nice to see you. Ahmad or João Pedro? I would start João Pedro ahead of Ahmad. Start Iwobi or Sa? I would start Iwobi ahead of Sar. Iwobi has Manchester United though. Okay, scrap that. I would start Sa ahead of Iwobi. Rogers or João Pedro? I answered this one. Choose between Mbumo, Rogers, and Eze. Choose two. I probably bench Rogers. Just about. It sounds crazy. Fair points about lack of goals and possibly, but using up a Liverpool slot onslaught when everyone else will have triple Liverpool seems like I'm missing out on lots of the upside of the chip. I mean, fair enough, but the thing is, triple Liverpool. Okay, I'm basically taking a gamble that also slot will be able to cover Cody Gakpo. Like basically going for slot gives me more points than going for Gakpo. Like that's also another metric that I can kind of use to assess whether the chip works out or not. You're right. But the same goes, right, for later on when many people have Liverpool players as well, but I'm sure that when Liverpool play Leicester and Aston Villa, there'll be some people using it on slot as well, and then they will be missing out on an additional Liverpool player. In which case, if it's Leicester and Aston Villa, I prefer having an attacker. Should I sell João Pedro for Gakpo this week or wait until next week for the double? Sell this week. Considering current form, who should I captain? Wood, ISAK, and Salah? I prefer Salah. Alan, nice to see you. Hi, bro. Start Kirkes, Robinson, or Mikalenko. I would start. If it's choosing one, I'll start Kirkes. If it's choosing two, I will start Kirkes and Robinson. Play 3 out of Munoz, Sa, Wood, João Pedro, Mikalenko, and Howson. Definitely Wood, as well as João Pedro. And then it'd be one of Munoz or Milenkovic. In which case, maybe Munoz for the greater attacking threat. Palmer, Kulusevski, Visa start 2. It'll be Palmer and Kulusevski. 200 likes achieved. Have we done it? Oh, very, very nice. We've done it. 209 likes. If we really hit 250, it's going to be and one of the highest we've hit this season. Have you already used your triple captainship? Yes, I've used it in Gameweek 2. Will you play it on Salah next week or the assistant manager chip on slot next week? If I didn't have the if I still have my triple captainship, would I play it on Salah next week or the assistant manager on slot? Um, I would still AM in 24. It's just my own preference, right? Because this is obviously biased to my own thinking, but I would still AM in 24, and then I would triple captain in a game week 33 when Liverpool have Leicester and Aston Villa. But that would mean that you bench boost in 36 instead. The other strategy, of course, is if you have a preference to triple captain in 24 instead and then save those like bench boost and assistant manager later on, then that is your other alternative. VJ, thank you very much for being a member for 14 months. It's insane. It's insane. One of the longest standing members, so thank you very much. Roger, another member as well. Yeah, got to your question. Kulusevski, thoughts, differential, don't mind it. We wouldn't go out to rip out my team just to buy him as well. Bench one of João Pedro, Rogers, and Sa. I would bench Sa. Who to bench out of Ahmad or Sa? I would bench Ahmad. Evening all. Captaining trend. Fair enough. Lewis and Jackson to Konate and Gakpo for free. Yes, I guess I would do that. I would do that. Start Robinson or Chalobah. Robinson. Ranking order of preference. Kirkes, Sar, Rogers, Wood, Aina. Okay, preference would be Wood, then Rogers, then Kirkes, then Aina, then Sar. If you had to choose one for this week, Aina, Kirkes, or Robinson, I would go... maybe Aina for the better defense out of all those three. But attacking threat wise, if you compare those three, then I'd probably say Kirkes. It's which one you prefer to rank them based on, I guess. Would you bring in Gordon this week? No. I've brought in Boomo this week. I think it's just too short-sighted. Like, for sure, shorter term, like especially this week, Gordon could do better. But longer term, I think Mbumo is the one. Rogers or Kluivert? This week I play Rogers. Bench Rogers or Wood? I would bench Rogers instead of Wood. Is it worth a transfer for Bruno to Mbumo or better to roll? Roll. Mock me not. Captain Ahmad on his hat-trick. Wow. Insane. If you captain him on your... captain him when he got his hat-trick. That's incredible. Of the popular picks this week that you don't have, who are you most afraid of missing out on? It is none other than Cody Gakpo for sure. Your future transfer plans, yes, I will. After the stream, I'm going to be recording a video. I have to record early, unfortunately. But yeah, I'll upload it after the Man City game. And that will spell out my assistant manager plan for Game Week 24 and also my future transfers leading up to blank Game Week 29. So yeah, I got to get to work after this stream. Triple Captain Salah this week and AM double Game Week 24. Nah, I don't think I would do that. But that's an interesting one. Maybe the first one I've heard. Alan says, thanks, bro. If I have Wood, ISAK, Gakpo, 2 free transfers, change Wood to Vista now. Nope, I think you would keep Wood now. Plan to change Rogers / Ahmad to Mbumo. Also, I would just delay it. Just you're good. You're good. Is captaining Haaland crazy when you have Salah and Isak? I think you captain the player you think is going to score the most points, and that still, for me, is either one of Salah or Isak. Emil says, thank you so much for your feedback. No problem at all. Live life on the edge. Bench Rogers or Raul. I would just about start Rogers. Okay. I've caught up with the chat. I have caught up with the chat for the first time today. Insane. I really appreciate that there's so many of you guys tuning in though. Like it's a joy. It's a joy interacting with all of you guys. I knew this stream was gonna be long, so I got myself a drink, and to give me some energy to last. I think we will stream for another 20 minutes or so. I think that would put us at about 2.5 hours, which seems a bit crazy. Let me just see. Yeah, I've been going on for about 2 hours now, I think. Yeah, 2 hours now. 228 likes. Insane. Thank you all for that. If we can hit 25, sorry, not 2500. The day we hit 2500, that'd be crazy. But the day we can hit, I think today, maybe we can hit 250. That'd be insane. Okay, let's get back to the questions. Best defender for 4.6. I think now might still be Howson. Yeah, I'm thinking long term here. Might still be Howson. VJ says subscribe. Yes, please do subscribe to the channel. Please do subscribe. We are. Let me just pull it up then. Let me just pull up. I think we might be able to hit like a new milestone today. Let me pull it up. Okay, we might be able to hit 10,900 subscribers. Like we might. Okay, well I'll come back to this. I'll leave it here. I'll come back to this. But we might. Okay. Yeah, if you're watching and you aren't subscribed, please do help us to hit that milestone. Murphy or Rogers? I actually prefer Murphy this week, to be honest. Bench Rogers or João Pedro? This one is very close. I would say, because João Pedro's data hasn't been as good, I would say Rogers. Pickford and Gakpo or Alisson and Calvert-Lewin, I prefer Pickford and Gakpo because I prefer Gakpo as the third Liverpool asset as compared to Alisson. Bench one, SA, Rogers or Vissa. Might be Vissa for that one. W Consult, thank you very much. Coffee or bubble tea? This one is bubble tea. This one is like a... Yeah, it's like, it's tea, basically. It's like a tea drink. João Pedro or Ilanga? João Pedro. Good morning, should I do Dalo? And, right, I'm saying João Pedro, by the way, when you compare to Ilanga, it's only because I think Bournemouth's defense has been pretty good. Good morning, should I do Dalo and Gordon out for Trent and... not this week then. I wouldn't sell Gordon this week. But you get Trent for Ipswich, but I think Gordon this week is more important, I would say. Like holding on to Gordon is what I would prioritize. Then you get Trent for the double. That's fine as well. Colwell to Kanate this week or Foden to Mbumo and Raul to Gakpo next game week. Raul to Gakpo this week if you can, honestly. Rogers or Gordon? I will start Gordon this week for sure. Free hit in game week 24. 3 Liverpool, 3 Everton. Nah, I think there's better use of the free hit. In blank game week 29 or blank game week 33. Is Mateta a must-have? No. Not a must-have. VJ, thank you for plugging. Cost nothing to subscribe. We're closing in. We're honestly, we're getting very, very close. We're getting very, very, very close. 18 subscribers to 10,900. Honestly, right? We might get to 11K by game week, by the double. We might. Let's see. We really might. All right. If you aren't subscribed, Please get us to 10,900. Munoz or Robinson to start? Munoz. Kirkes or Robinson? Kirkes. Greater goal threat at least. Henderson or Flecken? I would go. Oh, this one's tricky. I would just go Henderson. Live life on the edge, eat very spicy laksa, and drink a hot cup of coffee. That does sound good. What do you think about Trent? I think he's great. I think you get him in now or as soon as you can. Bench Sanchez or Henderson? I would bench Sanchez. Diaz as a Liverpool triple option. I don't like the minutes. Start Aina or Kirkes. I would just about. I think Nottingham Forest defense has been really, really good this season. So I really might just prefer to start Aina, honestly. Kirkes or Hausen for longer time. Longer term than obviously Kirkes. Still have Haaland. 1 more week to go. Keep him 1 more week or go Haaland, João Pedro, Sada, ISAK, Gakpo, and Bulmo. Feel ISAK both sailed. I'll be honest, I think ISAK, right? Even in tougher fixtures moving forward, I back him to get something. So if those are your moves, especially because it concerns Gakpo and Mbumo as well, I would just do it. Alternative of Mateta, João Pedro to Gakpo. I wouldn't sell Mateta, so yeah, already not going to consider that one. Start Timber or Robinson. I would start Timber. Jacob Murphy or Gordon. I'll try to start both, but Gordon definitely you have to start. What do you think about Trent and Semenyo in for Luis Diaz and Aina with the aim of doing Raya to Allison next game week? Trent and Semenyo in for Luis Diaz and Aina with the aim of getting. You can't do Trent and Semenyo in for Luis Diaz and Aina. Luis Diaz, yeah, that just doesn't make sense because there's 2 defend. Oh, you can. My bad. I'm not reading this right. Trent and Semenyo in for Luis Diaz and Aina with the aim of doing Raya to Allison next game week. I don't think you sell Luis Diaz this week though. Yeah, there's Ipswich and Aina this week is fine as well. Okay, sorry, took a while, but we got there. I wouldn't make those moves. Jackson and Gakpo for -4. I guess yes. But I guess yes. Sells to Allison or Wood to I can't even get my words out. That's what happens when you stream for 2 hours. It's too long. Sells to Allison or Wood to Gakpo for my third Liverpool or AM on slot. This one is a wider question, which is a decision you have to make, like what kind of chip strategy you want to be on. Sarah Murphy, definitely Murphy. Jackson 4, I would say Gakpo right now. 1 million rank, not happy. In my situation where you captain Salah or ISAK. I mean, if you want to go different, you can go ISAK. I hope it works out. But if not, the safe option is always Salah and you can go different elsewhere. Selwyn, nice to see you in the chat. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Make it 250 likes and 10.9k subs for the best streamer in Southeast Asia. Thank you very, very much. We're closing. Okay, let me just put it up on screen. We're closing in, guys. We're 11 subscribers away. We're gonna get there. Thoughts on Villa's new signing? Marlon, yeah, I think he's fine. It's just that, Villa's, I would prioritize fixtures elsewhere. Transfers elsewhere is just it. I want to see also how attacking he can be. We obviously know good things about him from his time in the other leagues. Start Raul or just bench him? It's for who though? For who? Start Sal or Wood? Definitely Wood. I have Wood, Isak, and Jackson. Selling Wood to Gakpo. Probably going to be the last Jackson owner on the planet. I prefer selling Jackson to Gakpo though. So I would do Wood to Gakpo, yes. Are you still AM in 24? Yes. But I've not seen anyone else apart from you going for it. Yes, I am still going AM in 24, yes. If there's no one in the world doing it except you and me, at least we have each other. Jackson for Gakpo or Roll? Jackson for Gakpo. Who to bench? Ahmad or Sa? I would bench Sa, start Ahmad. Sorry. I've been saying I would start Sa and I would start Sa ahead of Ahmad. It's just a better fixture. Bench 2. Gabriel. Wouldn't bench Gabriel. I also wouldn't bench Van Dijk and Hall. I guess it's Ahmad and Munoz then. Good evening. Can you brief on chip strategies along with wildcard? I have all of them available, but are there enough game weeks to utilize all, especially when you're planning on free hit? Okay, so this is a huge discussion, and if I go on about this, it's going to be another 45-minute video. So I did one already earlier this week. It's called My Chip Strategy. That one I broke down a couple of different strategies and my own thoughts on each chip. So if anything, and you don't want to go through the whole 45 minutes, skip to the last 5 minutes. That one there explains pretty much everything. I just spent a larger chunk of the earlier portion breaking down the assistant manager chip. That's all. 15 likes required for 250. We are on... Oh my, we are 2 likes away from 250. I think we're going to get there. Thank you very much. Gabriel blanks for Gameweek. Blanks for game weeks. Should we sell him? I don't think you sell him. I don't think you sell Gabriel. Fixtures moving forward are really good. Yes, he may have blanked the past few, but the fixtures are really, really good moving forward. Play Mbumo or Bruno with Munoz in defense. Play Mbumo and Bruno. I'll play both, and I'll try to bench someone else. Around 1 mil rank, is it worth chasing ISAK captain points? As I said, right, if you're... It could go either way. It could go such that you fall even further behind because you didn't captain Salah. Or you could be a genius and captain ISAK when everyone else hasn't. So as much as you may want to go different, it could work out the other way as well. So pros and cons, you have to weigh it up. Defense is Porro, Hall, Robinson on the bench. I got Munoz and Kirk. Has any changes needed? I think I might drop Robinson down to the bench for either one of Munoz or Kirkes. Either one. Peter Tucker says, I'm on slot in Gameweek24. Wish us luck and thank you for today. Yes, we are on slot for 24. Good luck to us, man, honestly. 250 likes. Thank you. 255. Smashed it. We smashed it. Okay, we might call it a day. Unfortunately, I don't know if we're gonna hit we're 6 subscribers away. I don't know whether we are gonna... I'm just gonna leave it on this. I'm gonna leave this on the screen for a while. Hopefully we can hit 900, 10,900, and then that leaves us 100 subscribers away from 11,000. I'm just gonna leave it on the screen for a while. Please I didn't get a response on this. Jacob Murphy or Gordon? I'd say Gordon. What's the possible ceiling or floor for the assistant manager chip? So ceiling, I would say, is if you go completely rogue and go table bonus every single week, there's a potential that it could go up to like 60 points. Like there is potential for that. If not, I think the average is 40. And then I would think the lower end of it, the floor, is probably about 20 plus. Yeah. Oh, we're going to get there. We're going to reach there very, very soon. We're going to have a party for next week if we hit 11K. Stay tuned for that one. Thank you all. Thank you all for 10,900 subscribers. Great week to end the stream. So thank you all so much. Okay, let's go back to my team. And I'm going to wrap it up here. We've been on for a while now. Okay, so for Bruggen in goal, Gabriel, Trent, Hall, Bumo, Rogers, Salah, Palmer, and then Vesa, Mateta, Isak. Captain, Salah. That is how I'm looking like. Bench is also pretty much not going to change. So this is it. I don't think there's going to be more changes. I'm going to, after this stream, record the transfer plans video for Game Week 24, where I'll spell out how I intend to use the assistant manager chip, and also, basically who I'm putting it on and when I intend to rotate my manager, and also my future plans leading up to Game Week 29. Okay, so that's the plan for now. And yeah, thank you all so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, incredible. I'm glad all of you enjoyed the stream as well. Appreciate it. Thank you all the members, VJ, Roger, Stan. Thank you very much. Thank you FPL Echo, Pikachu, Sashank Ayer, James, Ploppy. Yeah, appreciate all of you guys. 11,000 subscribers before Easter. That'll be the aim. All right. Let's call it a day. I can't even get my words out. Let's call it a day. Thank you for tuning in. Green arrows for everyone. And I will see you tonight in the upload that's coming after the Man City game. Keep a lookout for that one. It's going to be Game Week 24 or double Game Week 24 transfer plans. But until then, thank you for watching and tuning into today's stream. And I wish you guys all the best for Game Week 23. Bye-bye.